Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Let's start today's story on Coruscant, shortly after Qui-Gon Jinn's death. Qui-Gon's death shrouded Anakin's future in confusion and doubt. Obi-Wan was advocating to be able to train Anakin, but the issue is that the council didn't want this. They knew it was Qui-Gon's dying wish for the boy to be trained, but Obi-Wan was far too young and inexperienced to take on the responsibilities of a Padawan, let alone a 9-year-old boy who was dubbed the Chosen One. It was an illogical decision, and one that would have many consequences. So instead of Obi-Wan training Anakin, what if Count Dooku was his master? For this to happen, we have to change some precursors, such as Dooku turning to the dark side. His rationalization for this is being contacted by Yoda and asked to train the boy. Qui-Gon meant everything to Dooku, and when he learned of his former apprentice's dying wish for the boy to be trained, he couldn't deny his friend that. He graciously accepted, and the second he began training Anakin, his life became far too hectic to even consider turning to the dark side or even to leave the Jedi Order. He simply devoted his time to Anakin. He now had a different life purpose, one that meant much more to him since it was related to Qui-Gon. Although Anakin didn't know Dooku, he felt safe with him due to his connection to Qui-Gon. They had a special bond which allowed Anakin to grow a friendship with his master very quickly. Dooku began Anakin's training from scratch, starting with the basics of the Force. He taught Anakin how to feel the energy around him, how to move objects, and how to control his mind. From the start, Anakin showed incredible talent and speed in learning. Being the Chosen One, his connection to the Force was stronger and more instinctive than anyone Dooku had ever trained before. Anakin quickly mastered the basic techniques, his natural strength and skill in the Force setting him apart. Dooku was deeply impressed, seeing in Anakin a potential that few could match. He taught Anakin the Form 2 lightsaber fighting style, known for its precision and elegance, and when Anakin built his own lightsaber, he chose a curved hilt, just like Dooku's, honoring his master's style. Alongside this technical training, Dooku shared his views on the Jedi Order. He taught Anakin that following the Jedi Council was not the only way to view the Force. Instead, Dooku encouraged Anakin to seek his own path, to find his own wisdom and make decisions based on his own understanding of the Force. This teaching led them both down a darker path, making them outsiders within the Jedi Order. They grew more independent and less concerned with the strict rules of the Council. Their view of the Force became more about power and control, rather than the light and compassion that the Jedi traditionally followed. Together, Dooku and Anakin embraced a more nuanced and less conventional approach, which made them more powerful but also set them apart from the mainstream Jedi ideals. Their bond grew stronger as they walked this path together, pushing the boundaries of what was accepted within the Jedi Order and exploring a different way of using their immense strength in the Force. By the time Anakin was 18, his power and strength in the Force was unmatched, and he was significantly stronger than he was in the original timeline under Obi-Wan's training. Because Dooku didn't turn to the dark side, Palpatine needed another apprentice. He found Maul hidden on a distant planet, filled with anger and hatred, more determined than ever to seek revenge. Palpatine was amazed that Maul had survived, and saw new potential in him. He decided to take Maul back under his wing, seeing in him the perfect weapon. Palpatine would begin Maul's training again, pushing him harder than ever before. He taught Maul how to control his rage and use it to make him stronger. Sidious showed Maul the secrets of the dark side that he had never revealed before. He taught him how to draw more power from his hatred and pain, and how to channel the dark side into a more destructive and precise attacks. Maul was taught how to harness his emotions, turning them into fuel for his strength. One of the most important lessons was in-Force lightning, a powerful and deadly ability. Palpatine demonstrated how to draw on the dark side and unleash bolts of electricity from his hands. At first, Maul struggled to control the lightning, but Palpatine pushed him further. He made Maul practice for hours on end, forcing him to perfect this technique. Gradually, Maul learned to focus his power, creating powerful streams of lightning that could destroy anything in his path. Originally, Maul wasn't taught lightning because he was simply an acolyte, but now he is the main apprentice in the Rule of Two lineage. This means that learning Force lightning is a crucial ability to know. Palpatine also taught Maul how to mask his presence in the Force, to hide from the Jedi and move unseen. He drilled Maul in advanced lightsaber combat techniques, making him faster, stronger, and more unpredictable. They sparred every day, Palpatine constantly testing Maul's limits and making him stronger with each lesson. Palpatine encouraged Maul's ambition, feeding his desire for revenge and conquest. He made Maul see that they could rule the galaxy together, that his pain and hatred were strengths that could lead to ultimate power. The training was brutal and relentless, but Maul grew stronger with every passing day. He became more focused, more determined, and far more dangerous. Palpatine shaped him into a true Sith, not just a warrior, but a Dark Lord with the power to challenge anyone who stood in his way. Maul was now the main apprentice, the heir to the Sith legacy under the Rule of Two. With every lesson, every strike of lightning, every battle fought, Maul became more powerful. His eyes burning with a fierce red glow, ready to take on the galaxy once more. As for Palpatine and Anakin, the Chancellor would still manipulate the boy to the best of his ability. He noticed Anakin's doubts in the Jedi Council and decided to use these doubts to pull Anakin closer to him. Palpatine would often speak with Anakin, praising him for his skills and telling him that he was different, that he was destined for greatness. He would tell Anakin that the Jedi Council did not understand his potential and that they feared his power. He would plant seeds of doubt in Anakin's mind, suggesting that the Jedi held him back on purpose, keeping him from reaching his true potential. Palpatine would point out every time the Council made decisions without Anakin, making him feel left out and untrusted. He would suggest that the Jedi were too rigid, too stuck in their old ways, and that they were blind to the real dangers facing the galaxy. Palpatine would offer Anakin advice, telling him to follow his instincts, to trust his own judgment, rather than the Council's rules. He would remind Anakin of the times when his actions had saved lives, even when the Jedi had told him not to act. Palpatine would share stories of the Jedi's mistakes, their failures, and how they had lost touch with the common people. He would make Anakin feel like an outsider among the Jedi, different and special. He would give Anakin tasks and missions that seemed important, making him feel trusted and valued. When Anakin showed frustration or anger, Palpatine would encourage it, saying that emotions made him stronger, that they gave him an edge in battle. He would tell Anakin that there were other ways to use the Force, ways that the Jedi would not teach him, ways that could make him even more powerful. He would plant ideas in Anakin's head, suggesting that the dark side could be used for good, that it was just another path to achieving peace. Palpatine would often speak about balance, about how the Force needed both the light and the dark, and how Anakin could bring balance by understanding both sides. He made Anakin feel unique, like he was the one who could bring change, who could make the galaxy a better place. Over time, Palpatine became like a mentor to Anakin, a friend who understood him, who saw his greatness and his potential. Anakin began to trust Palpatine more, seeing him as someone who believed in him when the Jedi did not. Slowly, Palpatine drew Anakin closer, making him question everything he had been taught, making him feel like the Jedi were the ones holding him back from becoming truly powerful. Anakin started to feel a pull towards the dark side, a feeling that made Palpatine was right, that maybe the Jedi did not have all the answers. Palpatine's manipulation was slow and careful, planting seeds of doubt and then watching them grow into deep mistrust of the Jedi, pulling Anakin into his grasp step by step. As the Clone Wars began, Anakin and Dooku fought fiercely on the front lines for the Jedi, winning battle after battle. But their ways were different from the other Jedi. They did not follow the Jedi Council's rules strictly. Instead, they relied on their own sense of what the Force was telling them, trusting their own instincts and their own ideals of what was right. They believed in using any means necessary to win, even if it meant using techniques that were more aggressive or violent. Dooku taught Anakin that sometimes, to protect the innocent or defeat a greater evil, they had to use powers and way the Council would not approve of. They would strike down enemies with the Force, showing no mercy to those who would not surrender, and use the dark side when it felt necessary to do so. They believed that the ends justified the means, that the victory was the most important thing, no matter how it was achieved. This made them feared on the battlefield, as they would take risks that others would not. They would lead troops into dangerous situations, using tactics that other Jedi might see as ruthless or reckless. Anakin especially would use his emotions, his anger and his fear, drawing on them to make himself stronger. He did not shy away from his darker feelings, but instead saw them as tools that could help him win. Dooku encouraged this, believing that the Jedi's strict code was too limiting, that it kept them from truly understanding the Force. Their approach was focused on strength and power, on winning battles quickly and decisively, without getting caught up in the Jedi's idea of honor or restraint. They would push their soldiers hard, sometimes too hard, always demanding more, always seeking the quickest way to victory, even if it meant more destruction or casualties. They did not see themselves as bound by the Jedi way of peace and patience. Instead, they saw themselves as warriors, willing to do whatever it took to bring an end to the war. This made them different from the other Jedi, who often hesitated, who debated the morality of their actions. Anakin and Dooku did not hesitate. They acted with purpose, with focus, believing that the Force was their guide, not the Council, and that they were the ones who truly understood what needed to be done to save the galaxy from the darkness. Their path was darker, less forgiving and more aggressive, and this set them apart from the others, creating a growing tension between them and the Jedi Council. When Palpatine finally revealed his true identity as Darth Sidious, the Dark Lord behind the war, Anakin felt a wave of shock and confusion, but also a strange sense of understanding, as if pieces were falling into place. He realized that Palpatine had been guiding him all along, shaping him, preparing him for something greater. Anakin knew he had to act fast, so he went straight to Dooku and told him everything. Dooku listened carefully, his eyes narrowing with thought. He was not surprised by this revelation. He had always sensed that Palpatine was more than he seemed. Instead of rushing to the Council, Dooku considered the possibilities. He saw an opportunity to fulfill their shared vision of a galaxy free from the chaos and corruption they both despised. Dooku believed that the Jedi were too weak, and they lacked the will to do whatever needed to be done. Anakin felt the same way, and now they both saw a path forward that could bring order and peace, even if it meant using the dark side of the Force. Together, they made a choice to turn to the dark side, believing that they could use its power to bring balance, not chaos. When they came before Palpatine, he was surprised to see Dooku by Anakin's side. Palpatine had not expected Dooku, the Jedi Master, to join them, but he quickly saw the potential in this turn of events. He knew Dooku's strength, his wisdom, and his knowledge of the Force. Palpatine welcomed both of them, seeing how Dooku could be useful in his plans to take over the galaxy. He was pleased that Anakin, who was powerful and filled with potential, had chosen to join him, and now with Dooku, he felt even more assured of victory. Palpatine smiled, seeing the power that was now gathered before him. He began to teach them both, knowing that with Dooku and Anakin by his side, his plans for domination were even closer to becoming a reality. As for the Jedi Order, they didn't know that the two had turned to the dark side. Instead, they simply thought they had left the Order. Yoda and Plo Koon were especially concerned about this, wondering how the Chosen One prophecy would be fulfilled if Anakin was no longer a Jedi. But Windu was pleased. He always disliked Anakin and was jealous of his power. The Council didn't realize how misinformed they really were. Over the next few months, Palpatine trained Anakin and Dooku in the dark side of the Force. He pushed them harder, testing their limits, teaching them how to use their anger, fear, and hatred to grow stronger. He showed them dark techniques, secret Sith knowledge, and ways to manipulate the Force that they had never imagined before. Anakin felt the power surging through him like never before. He could feel the dark side strengthening him, making him faster, sharper, more deadly. Dooku too became even more powerful, his control and mastery over the Force deepening. Palpatine watched them both with great interest, eager to see who would prove themselves stronger. One day, Anakin challenged Maul to a duel, determined to prove himself. He wanted to show Palpatine that he was the true apprentice, the strongest of all of them. Maul accepted the challenge, his red lightsaber igniting with a crackling energy, his eyes burning with hatred. Anakin attacked with all of his might, unleashing everything he had learned, his lightsaber flashing in quick, deadly arcs. Maul fought back fiercely, using all of his dark skills and rage, but Anakin was relentless. He was stronger, faster, and more focused. The duel was intense, a storm of red and blue blades crashing with incredible speed and force. Sparks flew, and air crackled with the energy of the dark side. Anakin used every move Dooku had taught him, blending them with his own raw power and instinct. He pushed Maul back, forcing him to defend. Maul tried to counter using his agility and experience, but Anakin was too powerful. He pressed on, every strike more powerful than the last, every movement quicker and more precise. Then, with a powerful strike, Anakin broke through Maul's defenses, catching him off guard. Anakin drove his saber through Maul's chest, ending the duel. Maul fell defeated, his face twisted in pain and shock. Palpatine watched with a wide smile, his eyes gleaming with excitement and satisfaction. Anakin had proven his strength, his power, and his willingness to do whatever it took. He had shown Palpatine that he was ready to take his place as the true apprentice of the dark side, and the Sith Lord could not have been more pleased with his display of power. With Maul dead, Anakin became Sidious's true apprentice, and he knew the time for Order 66 was upon them. Anakin and Dooku arrive on Coruscant. They didn't have to sneak into the planet, and nobody knew they were now evil. They simply marched the stairwell of the Jedi Temple with none suspecting a thing. Sidious marched in front of them as he executed Order 66, and thousands of clones rushed into the temple ahead of them. The fight had begun. The skies above Coruscant were dark and filled with the sounds of gunships and blaster fire. Anakin, Dooku, and Sidious led the attack, marching at the front of a large force of clone troopers. The clones, now disobeying the order to eliminate all Jedi, moved with precise, cold efficiency, their blasters firing without hesitation. Anakin's face was set in a grim expression as he cut down Jedi Knights and younglings alike, his lightsaber flashing with deadly accuracy. Dooku, with his curved hilt and elegant style, moved like a force of nature, his attacks fluid yet ruthless, showing no mercy as he struck down Jedi Masters who tried to defend themselves. Sidious watched, his face twisted into a sinister smile, his eyes gleaming with dark delight. The Jedi fought back bravely, their lightsabers glowing in the dim light of the temple, but they were caught off guard, surrounded, outnumbered, and betrayed by those they had once trusted. The clash of lightsabers and the roar of blasters echoed through the halls, mixing with the cries and the wounded and dying. There was desperation in the air, a sense of hopelessness as Jedi realized they were being hunted in their own home. Anakin moved through the temple like a storm, his blade cutting down anyone who stood in his path, feeling the dark power surging through him, feeding his rage, his strength. Dooku moved with a cold determination, his strikes sharp and precise as he cut down his former allies without a second thought, believing they were weak, holding back the true power of the Force. Together, they were unstoppable, driven by the dark side and moving with a purpose that seemed almost inhuman. Anakin and Sidious were smart, engaging Windu and Yoda at different times, combining their strengths and making a 2-on-1 duel that was impossible for the Jedi, and they each perished. The temple, which was once a place of peace and learning, became a battleground, a place of chaos and destruction, filled with the smoke of battle and the sense of burning metal and flesh. The Jedi fell, one by one, overwhelmed by the sheer force of the attack, unable to match the combined might of Anakin, Dooku, and Sidious. As the last of the Jedi defenders fell, the temple grew silent, a place once filled with light, now drowned in darkness, the echoes of the fallen lingering like a haunting reminder of what was lost. When the Jedi had fallen and the clones were rushing around, Anakin and Dooku turned on Palpatine, sensing it was time to seize power for themselves. They moved with perfect coordination, Dooku's precise strikes and Anakin's raw strength creating a deadly combination that was hard for Palpatine to counter. Palpatine lashed out with his dark powers, using Force Lightning and his red lightsaber, but he found himself pressed by the two powerful warriors, attacking from different angles. Their attacks, relentless and fierce, Anakin's aggressive style and speed overwhelmed Palpatine's defenses, while Dooku, his years of experience and mastery of the Force, predicted and countered every one of Palpatine's moves. They pushed him back, slowly wearing him down until Dooku unleashed a burst of dark energy that staggered the Sith Lord, and Anakin, filled with the dark side, struck him down with a final, powerful blow. Together, their combined strength, speed, and skill proved too much for Palpatine, and he fell, defeated by the very apprentices he had sought to control. With Palpatine defeated, Anakin and Dooku took control of the galaxy, establishing their rule with a firm and unyielding grip. They were not like the tyrants that Palpatine's empire would have been, but they were not gentle rulers either. They believed in order, strength, and the power of the dark side to maintain control. They brought stability to the galaxy, ending the Clone Wars, but they did so with harsh measures, crushing any resistance and swift and decisive forces. Under their rule, there was peace, but it was a peace built on fear and absolute tyranny, where their word was law and dissent was not tolerated. They believed they were bringing balance, guiding the galaxy with a stern hand, seeing themselves as guardians of a new order, where weakness was purged and only the strong survived. Their reign was marked by strict control, but also by a strange sense of purpose, a desire to shape the galaxy into something stronger and more unified, even if it meant sacrificing kindness and mercy to achieve it. Anakin Skywalker grew to become the most powerful Force user in history. Hey guys, make sure to check out our saber shop Fantasy Sabers for the best NeoPixel sabers on the market. We have a bunch of perfect replicas and other insane Padawan sabers for sale. Check them out on our website, first link in the description below, and grab your own one today. If you enjoyed today's video, you must watch What If Obi-Wan Saved Dooku from Anakin and What If Ahsoka Killed Darth Vader. Please check out our saber shop Fantasy Sabers for the largest collection of Padawans, replicas, and many more. The link is first in the description. Thank you all for watching, and may the Force be with you.